The secret of abundance lies not in toil or struggle, but in the quiet certainty that wealth is already yours. The universe is a mirror, faithfully reflecting the images impressed upon it by your words. When you speak with authority, clothed in faith, creation hastens to obey. Every decree spoken with conviction becomes a seed, and the harvest is sure. The tongue is a wand of power, and every utterance carries its own fulfillment. Thus, the words you repeat daily are not mere sounds, but living forces, shaping your fortune in silence, drawing to you that which already exists in the unseen. When you declare yourself a secret millionaire, you step into alignment with the riches that surround you even now. Money is but a symbol, a servant of the spirit, and it comes swiftly when the heart is free of fear, and the mind is clear of limitation. The invisible supply is infinite, inexhaustible, and ever-flowing. The only barrier is disbelief, the only wall is doubt. Yet words spoken in faith dissolve every obstruction, as sunlight melts the morning mist. Speak, therefore, with boldness, for the word is law, and the law unfailingly manifests. Say it 4 times each day, and say it with the poise of one who knows. Say it in the morning when the day is new, and the gates of supply swing wide. Say it at noon when the shadows shorten and strength is renewed. Say it at dusk when the sun bids farewell, and unseen treasures gather at your threshold. Say it before you rest, and let the words travel through the night, calling forth opportunity, wealth, and blessing to greet you at dawn. In the repetition lies the engraving of truth upon the subconscious, and once engraved, nothing can erase it. Do not strive, do not chase. The kingdom of riches comes not through anxious labor, but through spoken word and serene expectation. The world rushes to serve the one who knows his place in the divine order. Every time you affirm, you are watering the soil of prosperity, and the roots run deeper. You are building a magnetic field around yourself that draws money, ideas, allies, and miracles into your orbit. Invisible hands are even now arranging circumstances, weaving connections, and opening doors. The affirmation is the command, the unseen world obeys. To say you are a secret millionaire is not to boast, but to recognize the truth of your inheritance. You are rich in supply, rich in wisdom, rich in opportunities unseen by the outer eye. Each utterance affirms your birthright, and each repetition brings it closer to form. When the word and the faith become one, the manifestation is inevitable. Words are not idle sounds drifting into the air, they are living currents, charged with the creative essence of spirit. Every word that passes through the lips is a command to the unseen, a decree to the invisible substance out of which all things are made. When one speaks, one sets into motion unseen energies that rush to clothe the spoken thought in visible form. Words carry within them the blueprint of the reality they describe, and once spoken with intention and conviction, they do not return void. The careless use of language is the careless scattering of seeds, yet the careful, deliberate word spoken with poise is the planting of a harvest that must come to pass. The ancients knew the power of the spoken word. Sacred texts echo the truth that in the beginning was the Word, and by it all things were formed. Creation itself is an answer to a command, the material world a testimony to divine utterance. So too is the life of each individual, a tapestry woven from words spoken daily, knowingly or unknowingly. Every phrase becomes a thread, every utterance a stroke of color, and the sum of it all shapes the reality in which one walks. The tongue is the rudder of destiny, steering the vessel of life toward lack or toward abundance, toward sorrow or toward joy, depending on the direction of speech. Observe the one who speaks constantly of fear, lack, and misfortune. Their life becomes a mirror of their words, and they find themselves walking in the very shadows they confess. For the subconscious mind is impressionable, ever listening, and it takes every word as instruction. It cannot discern jest from truth, sarcasm from sincerity, it only obeys. Speak long enough of poverty, and the mind accepts it as law, shaping conditions to prove the word true. Speak often of failure, and doors close, opportunities pass unseen. For the subconscious is following its command to manifest defeat. This is not punishment, but law, the law that words are creative forces shaping reality. Now turn to the one who speaks with expectation of good, who proclaims abundance even in lean times, who declares peace though storms surround. Their words are not idle affirmations, but decrees stamped upon the ethers. The subconscious, hearing only faith and certainty, begins to carve out the way to supply. Circumstances shift, people appear, ideas blossom, and wealth flows toward them because the word has gone forth to prepare the path. They do not struggle, they do not chase, for their words have already built the magnetic current that draws all things unto them. Words, once spoken, live on. They are not lost in the air, but they vibrate, echo, and continue their work long after the lips are silent. This is why careless speech can be so destructive and why intentional speech can be so powerful. To say, I cannot, is to close the door before it opens. To say, I can, is to summon strength unseen. To say, I am poor, is to command poverty to remain. To say, I am rich, is to align with infinite supply. The phrase, I am, carries creative weight, for it calls forth identity, and identity shapes destiny. Whatever follows those two words is a decree to the universe, a seal upon reality. Children learn from their earliest years the words spoken over them, and these words become scripts running beneath the surface of their lives. A child told continually that they are bright, capable, and blessed begins to believe and manifest accordingly. Another told they are limited, foolish, or unlucky carries those words as invisible chains until they learn to break them. This shows that words do not fade. They lodge in the subconscious and continue to create until they are replaced. Thus, the task of the awakened soul is to take dominion over the tongue, to choose words as carefully as one would choose seeds for a garden. Only words of life, increase, and blessing should be sown, for those are the harvest one desires to reap. Consider also the vibrational quality of words. Spoken with anger, even words of hope are tainted with discord. Spoken with calm authority, even the simplest phrase carries weight and command. The tone, the rhythm, the intention behind the word, all combine to release power. Words spoken in fear may falter, but words spoken in faith strike their target unfailingly. This is why affirmations must be spoken with certainty, not as begging but as declaring, not as pleading but as commanding. To affirm abundance timidly is to plant a seed in shallow soil, but to affirm abundance boldly is to plant in rich earth, sure of harvest. Every great leader, every teacher who moved nations, understood the power of words. Their speeches ignited courage, their declarations stirred movements. Their proclamations shifted the course of history. If words can turn the tides of nations, they can also turn the tides of personal fortune. The same principle applies. Words set forces in motion, and those forces gather substance until the word becomes flesh, the invisible clothed in the visible. One must learn to speak not of conditions as they appear, but of conditions as they are desired. To say, I am surrounded by wealth, even when the pocket is empty, is not deceit, it is alignment with the unseen reality waiting to manifest. The one who understands the power of words guards their lips as treasure. They refuse to speak of failure, for they know it gives it life. They will not utter defeat, for they understand that the word shapes form. Instead, they speak only of victory, abundance, health, and joy, knowing these words are shaping their tomorrow. When others complain, they remain silent or redirect the conversation, for they will not lend their speech to the building of lack. To such a one, every word is an investment, every phrase a deposit in the bank of the universe, and the returns are inevitable. The spoken word does not work alone, for thought and belief give it weight, yet it is the word that seals the command. A thought unspoken remains within, shaping only the inner world. A word spoken sends the thought outward, setting currents in motion. This is why one may think positively for years, yet see little change, until they begin to speak aloud their affirmations with authority. The spoken word is the bridge between inner conviction and outer manifestation. It is the voice that carries the order to the universe, and the universe obeys. Faith-filled affirmations dissolve obstacles, because faith is the substance that transforms words from empty repetition into living decrees. When words are spoken without faith, They fall to the ground as uncharged echoes, unable to move the unseen. But when words are spoken with the assurance that what is declared already exists in the invisible, they become carriers of divine power, impregnated with creative force. Faith clothes the word in authority, and authority commands results. No obstacle, no barrier, no wall of resistance can stand before the word that is spoken in unwavering conviction. For faith cuts through appearances and speaks directly to the truth of infinite supply. Obstacles are illusions magnified by fear. They appear solid. They appear immovable, yet they are shadows cast by doubt. The one who lives in fear sees every step as hindered, every door as closed, every path as blocked. But the one who lives in faith sees doors where others see walls, sees paths where others see dead ends, sees opportunity where others see only emptiness. Faith-filled affirmations dissolve obstacles by refusing to recognize the obstacle as final. Instead, they affirm the higher truth that spirit knows no obstruction, that supply flows without hindrance, that every barrier is but a mirage waiting to dissolve. To speak with faith is to speak with vision. It is to hold before the mind's eye the outcome already complete, the wealth already manifested, the success already secured. Affirmations spoken in this way are not requests, they are not pleas, they are statements of fact in the realm of spirit. They declare what already is in the unseen, and by declaring it, they draw it forth into the seen. The mountain may appear tall, but the affirmation of faith says it is removed, and so it begins to crumble. The river may seem wide, but the affirmation of faith says it is crossed, and so a bridge appears. Doubt is the silent thief that robs affirmations of their power. One may repeat words many times, but if the heart secretly believes the opposite, the affirmation is cancelled before it takes root. Yet even a single affirmation spoken with complete faith outweighs 100 spoken in doubt. The energy of faith saturates the word, infuses it with life, and sends it forth like an arrow to its mark. The subconscious mind, hearing the word spoken in faith, receives it as truth, and once it accepts, it begins to rearrange circumstances, dissolve resistance, and clear the way for manifestation. Faith does not argue with appearances. It does not stop to measure the size of the obstacle, nor does it tremble at the seeming impossibility. Faith declares the word and moves forward, as though the way were already clear. This is the secret of dissolving obstacles, the refusal to give them reality through speech. To continually affirm, I am blocked, I am hindered, I cannot progress, is to solidify the obstacle, to feed it with power. But to affirm, every obstacle is removed, every path is clear, every desire is fulfilled, is to withdraw energy from the appearance and redirect it to the truth. Consider the person surrounded by debt who continually affirms, I am free from debt, wealth flows to me. Every need is met. Though the bills remain at first, the affirmation spoken with faith begins to dissolve the weight of the condition. Opportunities arise, ideas come, resources appear, and gradually the mountain of debt diminishes until it is no more. The words alone are not magic, but words clothed in faith shift the inner atmosphere, and the outer world must reflect the change. What seemed impossible yields, because the declaration of truth has been made with conviction. Obstacles often disguise themselves as delays, denials, or detours. The impatient spirit complains, nothing is working, nothing is happening, and in so doing, strengthens the very obstacle. But the spirit of faith affirms, everything is unfolding in divine order, my good cannot be withheld. The way is already prepared. Such affirmations dissolve obstacles not by force but by alignment. The universe bends to the one who speaks in harmony with its laws. For faith-filled speech is always aligned with the higher law of abundance and freedom. The power of affirmation lies in repetition, but repetition alone is not enough. Without faith, repetition becomes mechanical, like striking a stone without spark. But with faith, even a few repetitions carry the energy of certainty, igniting the fire of manifestation. Faith-filled affirmations dissolve obstacles because they speak to the essence of reality, not to the shifting appearances. They call forth the eternal truth that there is no lack, no hindrance, no limitation in spirit, And when that truth is spoken often enough, believed deeply enough, the illusion of the obstacle can no longer stand. Faith is not a fragile hope, it is an inner knowing. It is the assurance that the invisible supply is greater than the visible challenge. When affirmations are spoken in faith, they do not beg for change. They command it. They do not wonder if the way will open, they declare it already open. This distinction is what dissolves obstacles. For the obstacle is a formation of doubt, and doubt cannot survive the light of certainty. The one who speaks in faith does not waver, and in their unwavering, the obstacle dissolves. The greatest obstacles are often not in the outer world but within the mindy fear, worry, resentment, disbelief. Faith-filled affirmations target these inner blocks, dissolving them at their root. To affirm, I am fearless, I am secure, I am divinely protected, gradually erodes fear until it vanishes. To affirm, I release all resentment, I am free, I walk in peace, melts the hardness of the heart and clears the way for blessings. To affirm, I believe, I receive, I know my good is here, shifts disbelief into trust. Once the inner obstacles are dissolved, the outer obstacles lose their footing. For they were only reflections of the inner state. Faith-filled affirmations must be spoken as though the truth is already realized. The words must carry the weight of completion, not the uncertainty of waiting. When one says, I will be wealthy someday, the subconscious hears delay. But when one says, I am wealthy now, abundance surrounds me, prosperity flows through me, the subconscious accepts the statement as reality and begins to construct conditions to prove it true. The key is present tense affirmation spoken with present tense faith, for spirit knows only now. Every obstacle is a test of faith, an opportunity to practice the power of the spoken word. To the faithless, the obstacle seems to grow larger with every glance, but to the faithful, it shrinks with every affirmation. This is why the instruction is to speak the word daily, to keep the vibration of faith constant, to maintain the atmosphere of certainty until the obstacle dissolves of its own weightlessness. For obstacles are weightless illusions, and illusions cannot withstand the steadfast fire of truth declared. Repetition engraves truth on the subconscious, because the mind is a fertile field that accepts whatever seed is sown into it through persistent affirmation. The conscious mind may forget, it may wander, it may doubt, but the subconscious is steady, receptive, and obedient. It cannot argue, it cannot reason. It only accepts and manifests. Every repeated word, every repeated thought, is a seed planted deeper into this soil, and once the soil accepts it, it begins to grow in silence until it appears in the outer world as experience. The subconscious does not choose which seeds to grow, it simply grows what is planted. If fear is repeated, it engraves fear. If lack is repeated, it engraves lack. But if abundance is repeated, if faith is repeated, if prosperity is repeated, the engraving of wealth and success becomes inevitable. The power of repetition is seen in the simplest of human habits. A thought repeated becomes a belief repeated becomes a conviction, and a conviction engraves itself so deeply that it shapes every choice, every action, and every outcome. Just as a river carves valleys through the stone by constant flow, so repetition carves truth into the mind until it becomes the natural channel through which life flows. This is why even the smallest affirmation, if spoken often enough, takes root. The words may feel hollow at first, the lips may feel like they speak without meaning, but with every repetition, the impression grows deeper until the subconscious accepts it as truth. The subconscious is impressionable like wax, and repetition is the seal that presses upon it. One word may leave a faint mark, but repeated words engrave permanently. This is why constant affirmations of lack or complaint result in a life filled with lack and complaint. People wonder why their conditions repeat themselves year after year. But the reason is plain: they have spoken the same words, thought the same thoughts, rehearsed the same beliefs so often that the subconscious has engraved them into the very fabric of their lives. To change life, one must change the engraving, and the only tool sharp enough to do this is repetition of new truth until the old is erased. In the beginning, when a new affirmation is spoken, the subconscious may resist. It has already been engraved with years of contrary belief. If one has always thought, I am poor, and then begins to affirm, I am wealthy, the old engraving rises in protest. It whispers, this is not true, this cannot be. But repetition does not listen to the protest. It continues to impress the new word, day after day, until the old line begins to fade. The subconscious does not resist forever. Sooner or later, it accepts the new engraving, and once it does, it begins to manifest the new condition. The key is persistence. A single repetition may stir the waters, but persistence stirs the depths. When an affirmation is spoken morning, noon, and night, it becomes like a rhythm, a song played into the subconscious. Just as a melody repeated often enough becomes unforgettable, so the affirmation repeated faithfully becomes unforgettable to the subconscious. It begins to echo even in silence, it repeats itself in dreams, it colors perception, it influences every decision. This is how repetition engraves truth, not by force, but by gentle, constant insistence until it becomes the only truth the subconscious recognizes. Repetition is not limited to spoken words, though spoken words carry special power. Thoughts repeated silently engrave just as well, and actions repeated consistently reinforce the engraving. To speak, I am successful, while acting in contradiction may weaken the effect, but to speak, I am successful, and then act as though success is certain strengthens the engraving. Every repeated act, every repeated choice in harmony with the affirmation, becomes another stroke of the engraving tool upon the subconscious. In time, the engraving becomes so deep that it cannot be shaken, and reality must conform to it. Consider the one who constantly repeats words of health. At first, the body may still show signs of weakness, yet they persist. I am strong, I am whole, I am vibrant with life. Day after day, they impress this truth upon their subconscious. Slowly, the body begins to respond. Energy increases, healing accelerates, vitality returns. It is not magic but law. The subconscious controls the body's processes, and once engraved with health, it directs the body to manifest health. The repetition has become the command, and the body obeys. Consider also the one who repeats words of wealth. Their pockets may be empty at first, but their words are full. They say daily, I am prosperous, money flows freely to me, opportunities surround me. The subconscious, receiving this engraving, begins to shape behavior and perception. They notice opportunities they once overlooked. They make choices aligned with abundance. They radiate confidence that attracts success. Soon, the outer world matches the inner engraving. The wealth they once affirmed in faith becomes visible. Repetition has engraved prosperity on the subconscious, and prosperity has engraved itself on their life. Even negative patterns are proof of this law. A person who continually says, I never get ahead, nothing works out for me, I am always unlucky, has engraved this truth upon their subconscious. No matter how many chances they are given, no matter how much good comes near them, the engraving pulls them back into failure. Their subconscious expects defeat, and so defeat becomes the outcome. They are not cursed, they are simply living out the engraving of their own repeated words. The moment they begin to repeat new truth, the engraving begins to change, and the course of their life changes with it. Repetition must be consistent. A farmer does not sow seeds once and expect a harvest. He waters daily, he tends daily, until the soil yields. In the same way, affirmations must be repeated until the subconscious is fully saturated. To speak once and then abandon the practice is to leave the soil unwatered, the seed unrooted. But to speak daily, to repeat constantly, is to water the soil of the mind until the harvest is inevitable. The subconscious cannot resist constant repetition. It eventually accepts whatever is most often repeated. Repetition also creates momentum. At first, an affirmation may feel heavy, as though pushing against resistance. But with every repetition, the weight lessens, the flow increases, the momentum builds. Soon the affirmation becomes effortless, automatic, a natural rhythm of thought. At this point, the engraving is complete. The subconscious no longer needs convincing. It has accepted the new truth as law, and it operates automatically to manifest it. This is why repetition is the master key to transformation. It moves truth from the surface of the conscious mind into the depths of the subconscious, where creation takes place. Wealth flows from unseen, infinite supply because spirit itself is limitless and unending. The outer world may seem governed by scarcity, by numbers and limits, by visible balances and accounts, but behind the veil of appearances there is a reservoir that can never be exhausted. The unseen is the true storehouse, invisible to the eyes but felt in the soul. Every coin, every opportunity, every channel of prosperity springs from this boundless source, and the law of life is that supply flows freely when one aligns with it through thought, word, and faith. Lack is but an illusion created by doubt, for the true reality is abundance, waiting to pour itself forth wherever there is an open channel. The unseen supply is like the air. It cannot be hoarded, it cannot be measured, yet it surrounds every living being. One does not question whether there will be enough air to breathe tomorrow, for air flows freely, filling every space, sustaining all without strain. In the same way, wealth flows from the unseen source, circulating through the world in countless forms. Money is one symbol, but wealth is greater than money. Wealth is opportunity, wealth is connection, wealth is energy, wealth is the continuous unfolding of good. Just as air surrounds us even when we do not see it, wealth surrounds us even when our senses deny it. To look only at the visible supply is to live in limitation. The bank account may show a number, but that number is not the measure of true wealth. The job may bring income, but that income is not the boundary of prosperity. The visible is only the shadow of the invisible. The source itself is infinite, and when one affirms this truth, one begins to draw from the greater supply, instead of clinging to the lesser. It is like drawing water from the ocean through a pipe. The ocean is endless, but the pipe determines the flow. Belief, affirmation, and expectation widen the pipe. Doubt and fear narrow it. The supply itself is infinite, but each individual determines how much they allow to flow through. The unseen supply is not limited by time, place, or circumstance. Opportunities may vanish in one direction, but others rise in their place, for the source is ever creative. The world may declare recessions, shortages, or downturns, yet the one who knows the truth walks in abundance even in such times. They draw not from the outer economy, but from the infinite storehouse. The channel may change, but the source remains. Just as a river may dry in one course, but springs forth in another, so the unseen supply adjusts its path to reach those who affirm its presence. To trust in appearances is to fear when one stream dries, but to trust in infinite supply is to know that another is already prepared. Wealth flows to those who recognize its spiritual nature. Money is not the master, it is the servant. It is a symbol of exchange, a vehicle for circulation, a tool for creation. The source is spirit, and spirit knows no lack. When one affirms, I draw from infinite supply, wealth flows to me freely and endlessly. The subconscious begins to align with this truth, and circumstances shift accordingly. Unexpected opportunities appear, doors open, people offer assistance, ideas generate income. The supply flows in ways that could not have been predicted, for the unseen works through countless channels. The affirmation does not create wealth, it removes the mental blocks that dam the river of supply. Fear is the greatest block to this flow. Fear whispers that the supply is small, that resources are few, that competition is fierce, that there is not enough for all. This fear builds walls in the mind, and the subconscious, obeying the suggestion, manifests scarcity. But faith affirms, there is always enough, my supply is limitless, wealth flows to me now. In the presence of such affirmation, fear dissolves, the walls fall, and the flow resumes. The law cannot fail. What one expects, one receives. Expectation backed by faith draws from the unseen storehouse and translates invisible wealth into visible form. Wealth also flows through circulation. The unseen supply is never stagnant, it moves, it circulates, it renews itself endlessly. When one hoards in fear, the flow is blocked, just as water in a dam becomes stagnant. But when one gives, shares, invests, the circulation increases, and more flows back. The unseen supply delights in movement, in generosity, in expansion. Affirmations that align with circulation. I give freely and receive abundantly. Money flows in perfect balance through my life. Engrave the subconscious with the rhythm of abundance, and the flow continues without end. To understand the unseen supply is to understand that wealth is not earned by toil alone. Toil without alignment often produces little, but alignment with the infinite supply produces results far beyond effort. One person may labor long hours and see little gain, because they believe supply is scarce and hard to earn. Another may labor lightly yet receive great wealth, because they affirm constantly. Everything I need comes to me easily and freely. My supply is unlimited. The difference lies not in the effort, but in the engraving upon the subconscious, which either opens the channel wide or narrows it to a trickle. The unseen supply is personal and impersonal at once. It is personal in that it responds to the individual's faith and affirmations, but it is impersonal in that it is not limited to one person's control. It flows like light, shining on all, waiting only for the open window. When the window of belief is open, the light floods in. When it is closed, the room remains dark though the sun shines brightly. In the same way, wealth flows freely, but one must open the window of consciousness to receive it. Affirmations are the act of opening this window, widening it, and allowing more light to pour through. Wealth from unseen supply does not follow human logic. It arrives in ways beyond calculation. One may expect wealth to come through salary or trade, but the unseen supply may choose gifts, inheritances, sudden opportunities, or chance meetings as its channels. It is not bound by human reasoning, it is bound only by divine law. This is why affirmations must never specify the how, but only the what. To say, money comes to me only through my job, is to limit the channel. To say, money flows to me through expected and unexpected avenues, my supply is endless, is to open countless doors. The unseen supply delights in surprising those who trust it, for it is limitless in creativity. Speak prosperity with calm authority, because the voice carries within it the vibration of belief, and the manner in which words are spoken is as powerful as the words themselves. To speak in haste, with nervousness or desperation, is to announce to the subconscious and to the universe that doubt is present, that fear still lingers. But to speak prosperity calmly, steadily, and with unshaken composure is to demonstrate mastery, and mastery commands results. Authority is not loudness, it is not forcefulness. It is the quiet assurance that what is spoken is already true, already complete, already established in the unseen. Calm authority is the mark of one who knows, and the universe hastens to reflect that knowing. When prosperity is spoken with calm authority, the subconscious mind does not resist. The subconscious listens not only to the words but to the feeling beneath them. If the tone trembles with uncertainty, the subconscious hesitates to engrave the truth. But when the tone is steady, the pace unhurried, the energy serene, the subconscious accepts the words as law. It engraves them without question because it hears conviction. The spoken affirmation becomes like a decree from a king whose word cannot be challenged. Calm authority dissolves inner resistance and impresses prosperity upon the deepest levels of mind. Prosperity responds to authority because authority acknowledges dominion. Spirit has given humankind dominion over thought and speech, and when that dominion is exercised, creation obeys. To speak timidly is to abdicate power, but to speak with calm assurance is to claim one's rightful inheritance. Authority does not need to plead, for pleading implies lack. Authority declares, for declaring implies possession. When one says, I am prosperous, wealth flows to me now, in the tone of calm authority, the words vibrate as truth and set into motion the forces that gather wealth. The unseen responds not to begging but to command, and command is always calm, for it knows its decree is fulfilled. The calmness is essential, for calmness reveals faith. A person who speaks in frantic repetition betrays their hidden doubt, as though they must force the words into existence by effort. But calm speech shows that no effort is required, only alignment. Prosperity does not come through strain, it comes through certainty. The calm voice carries this certainty, and its vibration reaches the subconscious and the universal law alike. The law hears calm authority as alignment with truth, and it cannot deny its own truth. When prosperity is spoken in this manner, obstacles dissolve without conflict. Calm authority does not wrestle with appearances. It does not fight the evidence of lack, it simply overrides it. To speak prosperity calmly is to announce to appearances that they hold no power, that they are shadows fading before the light of truth. The subconscious, hearing this steady decree, begins to shape conditions accordingly, regardless of what the outer world shows. Calm authority bypasses resistance because it does not grant resistance reality. It speaks as though the good is already done, and so it is. Consider the difference between one who says nervously, "I hope I will have money soon. I hope things will improve," and one who says calmly, "I have all I need now. My supply is unlimited. Prosperity is flowing to me." The first statement vibrates with lack and uncertainty, reinforcing delay. The second statement vibrates with possession, engraving abundance. The subconscious cannot mistake the difference. It hears fear in the first and engraves scarcity. It hears authority in the second and engraves prosperity. The words may seem similar, but the tone transforms them completely. Authority is not aggression. It is not the loud voice of one trying to convince themselves. It is the quiet power of one who already knows. The calm authority that speaks prosperity is like a lighthouse, steady, unmoving, shining regardless of storms. It does not falter because the sea rages, it does not dim because the night is long, it simply shines. In the same way, the person who speaks prosperity with calm authority does so regardless of outer conditions. Their calmness itself proves their faith, and faith is the substance that manifests prosperity. This manner of speaking also shapes the inner atmosphere. When one repeats affirmations in panic, the nervous system remains tense, the mind unsettled, the heart restless. But when one affirms prosperity calmly, the body relaxes, the mind becomes still, the heart trusts. This calm state is itself magnetic, drawing prosperity more swiftly. Prosperity flows to the calm soul because calmness shows readiness. The universe does not pour abundance into a vessel already shaken and spilling. It pours into the vessel that is still, steady, open to receive. Speaking prosperity with calm authority also influences others. Those who hear such words feel the vibration of confidence and are drawn to support, assist, and open doors. The calm decree of prosperity radiates outward, impressing not only the subconscious but also the environment. Opportunities come because people are attracted to certainty. Partnerships form because calm authority inspires trust. The tone of speech becomes a magnet, and the magnet draws wealth. The practice of calm authority must be deliberate. At first, one may feel the urge to rush, to repeat affirmations anxiously, to fight with appearances. But with practice, one learns to slow the voice, to breathe deeply, to speak each word as though it carries weight. Each syllable is allowed to settle, each phrase is spoken as a decree, not as a plea. The voice itself becomes an instrument of creation, tuned to the vibration of prosperity. The repetition of such calm speech strengthens the engraving on the subconscious until prosperity is its only reality. The outer world reflects inner speech. A person who speaks prosperity with calm authority begins to see calm authority mirrored back in circumstances. Business dealings become smoother, negotiations more favorable, opportunities less forced. Prosperity flows easily because it has been spoken easily. Calmness creates ease and ease creates flow. Authority commands alignment and alignment produces results. Thus, the manner of speech becomes the manner of life, calm, steady, prosperous. Alignment attracts opportunities and allies because the universe is ordered by vibration, and every thought, every word, every belief carries its own frequency. When one is out of alignment, when words contradict beliefs and beliefs contradict desires, the vibration is scattered and confused. Life then reflects this confusion with missed chances, closed doors, and relationships that do not support growth. But when alignment is achieved, when thought, word, and feeling move in harmony with the desired reality, a clear signal is sent forth, and the world responds. Opportunities that once seemed hidden suddenly appear, and allies who share the same vibration are drawn irresistibly near. Alignment does not chase, it attracts, because like draws unto like. The law is simple yet profound. Inner state determines outer condition. A person may say they desire wealth, but if inwardly they harbor fear, doubt, or resentment, they are out of alignment with prosperity. Their vibration announces lack even as their words announce abundance. And the universe obeys the vibration, not the surface words. Opportunities for wealth will appear to others but pass them by because they are not attuned to receive. Yet when one aligns fully, when belief in abundance matches words of abundance and emotions of gratitude and joy accompany them, then the entire being radiates prosperity, and prosperity responds. Doors open effortlessly, ideas emerge, people extend support, and success follows naturally. Alignment is like tuning an instrument. A piano that is out of tune produces discordant sounds no matter how skilled the player. In the same way, a mind out of alignment produces discordant results no matter how much effort is made. The outer world plays back the inner notes, and if they are jarring, the reflection will be jarring. But when the mind is tuned to faith, when the words affirm truth, and when the heart feels certainty, harmony is produced, and harmony attracts harmony. This is why aligned individuals often seem lucky, though luck has nothing to do with it. They have tuned themselves to the frequency of success, and success finds them. Opportunities are not created by alignment, they are revealed. They already exist in the infinite field of possibility, but misalignment blinds the eyes. Fear narrows perception, doubt clouds vision, resentment blocks recognition. Alignment clears these veils. The subconscious, engraved with truth, begins to notice what was always present: the right conversation, the chance meeting, the timely idea. Nothing new was created. The awareness was sharpened. Alignment is the opening of the inner eye to the abundance already surrounding. When the eye is clear, opportunities shine forth where once only obstacles were seen. Allies are drawn in the same way. Every individual radiates energy, and others respond unconsciously to this radiation. One who complains, doubts, and fears attracts companions of the same vibration, who reinforce the same patterns of lack. But one who speaks with calm authority, who believes in abundance, who walks in faith, attracts allies who share these qualities. Partnerships form effortlessly because resonance unites them. The aligned individual does not need to seek frantically for allies, their vibration calls them forth. The right mentor, the right partner, the right friend appears because they are tuned to the same frequency of truth. Alignment requires consistency. A person cannot affirm abundance one day and speak of poverty the next, for the vibration becomes unstable. The subconscious cannot engrave what is continually contradicted. But when affirmation is steady, when the tone remains consistent, the alignment grows stronger. The signal becomes clearer, like a beacon shining into the night. Opportunities see the light and move toward it. Allies recognize the call and respond. The consistency of alignment is what sustains attraction, turning momentary chance into lasting flow. The body itself testifies to alignment. When one is aligned, the body feels light, energetic, at ease. When misaligned, the body feels tense, heavy, resistant. These sensations are guides, signals indicating whether the inner vibration matches the desired reality. To ignore them is to walk against the current, but to heed them is to return to harmony. Speaking affirmations with sincerity, holding thoughts of abundance with joy, releasing all resistance with calmness. These actions restore alignment, and once restored, the flow of opportunities resumes. Alignment is not passive, it requires awareness. To notice when words contradict desires, to observe when feelings betray doubt, to redirect thought when it wanders to fear. These are the practices of one who seeks alignment. Every correction is like tuning a string, adjusting slightly until the tone is pure. Over time, the habit of alignment becomes natural, and life reflects it without effort. Opportunities appear often, allies surround constantly, because the vibration is stable and strong. The magnetic pull of alignment extends beyond personal gain. Those who are aligned uplift others simply by presence. Their calm confidence inspires trust. Their steady faith awakens hope. Their prosperous vibration encourages others to rise. This is why aligned individuals often become leaders, mentors, or centers of influence. They do not demand followers, they attract them. Allies are drawn not only for shared success but for shared growth, for the resonance of alignment multiplies itself in all who are near. Even challenges bend before alignment. Where misalignment sees obstacles as barriers, alignment sees them as steps. The aligned individual affirms, "This too serves my good." This too is part of the path. Because they maintain harmony even in difficulty, the difficulty transforms into opportunity. Allies are often revealed in such times, drawn by the light of calm persistence. The very obstacle becomes the meeting ground for powerful connections, and what once seemed a setback becomes a doorway. Alignment turns even resistance into cooperation, even struggle into opportunity. Alignment attracts because alignment is truth. The universe itself is aligned in perfect order. The stars do not stray from their courses. The tides do not cease their rhythm. To live in alignment with abundance is to live in accord with the universal law. This accord produces ease, and ease attracts. Struggle belongs to misalignment, flow belongs to harmony. Opportunities and allies are drawn not by force but by resonance. When one is aligned with prosperity, prosperity itself recognizes its reflection and rushes to meet it. The word is law. Manifestation is inevitable, because every spoken declaration carries with it the force of creation. The law of the universe is that words once spoken imprint upon the unseen substance of life, and this substance responds without fail. To speak is to set cause into motion, and cause must bring forth its corresponding effect. The spoken word is never lost, never wasted, never forgotten. It lingers in the ethers, shaping, molding, directing energy until the manifestation appears in form. This is not a matter of chance or luck. It is the operation of universal law. Just as gravity pulls without hesitation and fire burns without bias, the law of the word acts with certainty. The word is law, and once the law is set in motion, it cannot return void. Every phrase, every affirmation, every statement builds a mold in the invisible, and the invisible fills that mold with substance until it hardens into visible reality. To say, "I am prosperous," is to construct the mold of prosperity, and prosperity must come forth. To say, "I am always lacking," is to construct the mold of lack, and lack must appear. The law does not question, it does not judge. It does not choose between good or ill. It fulfills whatever command is spoken with conviction. The subconscious, too, acts as the executor of this law. It takes every word as instruction, engraving it deeply, and once engraved, the engraving becomes the pattern from which reality emerges. The word is law, and the engraving is the enforcement of that law. Manifestation is inevitable because law does not fail. One may plant seeds in the soil, and whether they be flowers or weeds, the soil grows them faithfully. The soil does not argue, it simply produces. The mind and the universe act in the same way. Speak words of harmony, joy, and wealth, and those words germinate into harmonious, joyful, and wealthy conditions. Speak words of fear, anger, and defeat, and those too must bear fruit. Many believe their circumstances come by chance. Yet every circumstance is the harvest of words spoken and thoughts repeated. Law is impartial, it mirrors exactly what is given to it. When one understands that the word is law, care is taken with every utterance. Idle words are no longer spoken carelessly, for even idle words carry seeds of creation. Complaints are recognized as decrees of continued hardship, gossip as decrees of discord, self-deprecation as decrees of limitation. In the same way, affirmations are recognized as decrees of increase, gratitude as decrees of multiplication, faith as decrees of fulfillment. Awareness transforms the tongue into an instrument of power, a tool for deliberate creation rather than unconscious destruction. The word becomes sacred because it is known to be law. The inevitability of manifestation does not always mean immediacy. Just as a seed takes time to sprout, grow, and bear fruit, so do spoken words take time to manifest in the outer world. Some words take root quickly because the soil of the subconscious is already prepared. Others require longer because old engravings must be overwritten. Yet delay is not denial. The law is always working, always moving, always shaping. The moment the word is spoken with authority, the manifestation begins. It continues unseen until the visible reflects it. Faith sustains the speaker during this interval, knowing the law cannot fail. The power of the word as law is amplified by emotion. Words spoken with cold detachment carry little imprint, but words spoken with faith, gratitude, or joy vibrate with energy and penetrate deeply into the subconscious. A decree filled with conviction engraves itself quickly, whereas a decree spoken without belief requires repetition to take hold. This is why affirmations must be spoken not mechanically, but with feeling. For the law responds most powerfully when the word and the emotion are aligned. The inevitable manifestation is hastened by sincerity, passion, and calm authority. Manifestation is inevitable also because the subconscious cannot distinguish between truth and falsehood. It does not reason. It only accepts. To say, "I am wealthy," when the pockets are empty is not falsehood to the subconscious, it is instruction. The outer condition may deny it, but the subconscious does not live in the outer condition, it lives in the realm of creation. It hears the word, accepts it, and begins shaping the circumstances to match it. The universe bends itself to accommodate the engraving. So long as the word is repeated and held in faith, the manifestation must arrive. Even words spoken in jest carry power. For the subconscious does not recognize humor. Repeated jokes about poverty engrave poverty. Constant talk of sickness engraves sickness. This is why the tongue must be disciplined, why words must be chosen with care. To laugh lightly about abundance, to joke about success is better, for even in jest, such words engrave prosperity. Every word counts because the law counts every word. The inevitability of manifestation makes speech the most powerful tool of creation and the most dangerous tool of destruction. The law of the word also explains why affirmations spoken 4 times daily or more engrave so deeply. The steady repetition drives the decree into the subconscious, and the subconscious, once convinced, moves all forces to manifest it. The universe itself conspires to bring the spoken word to life. People appear at the right moment, doors open in unexpected places, ideas flash into consciousness, coincidences multiply, all to fulfill the law of the word. To the unaware, these may seem like chance events, but to the one who understands, they are simply the inevitable unfolding of law. Manifestation being inevitable does not mean effort is excluded, but effort becomes directed and effortless. When the word has been spoken and engraved, the subconscious influences decisions, perceptions, and actions in line with the decree. One feels inspired to take the right step, guided to meet the right person, compelled to seize the right opportunity. These actions are not forced. They flow naturally because they are aligned with the engraved word. Manifestation appears as the result of both unseen orchestration and visible action, both of which are governed by the law of the word. The inevitability of manifestation also carries responsibility. To know that every word is law is to recognize that careless speech is dangerous. Speaking of doom invites doom, declaring defeat creates defeat, affirming limitation solidifies limitation. Many unknowingly bind themselves with their own tongues, speaking chains around their destiny. Yet the same law that binds can also liberate. By reversing the word, by speaking prosperity instead of lack, health instead of sickness, freedom instead of bondage, the engraving changes and the manifestation shifts. The law does not punish, it only reflects. Change the word, and the reflection must change. The word is law because it is rooted in the beginning of creation itself. In every tradition, creation began with a word, a command, a sound. Existence itself is the echo of divine speech. Humanity, made in the image of the Creator, carries this same power in smaller measure. To speak is to create, to decree is to manifest. The law is unchanging as above, so below. Just as the divine word gave birth to universes, so human words give birth to conditions. The same principle applies, whether to galaxies or to daily circumstances. This is why the spoken word must be recognized as sacred law.